You are listening to The Guide, entertainment.ie's weekly TV podcast with Fiona Flynn and David O'Shaughnessy.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
We were a lot more giddy just before this recorded, so that was actually our best version of that.
This is off the best one we've gotten so far. We're going to go with it.
So this week we're going to be talking about Homeland, which just came back to our screens this week for its 5th season.
I was actually, I had to check. It was 5. Have we got 5 seasons in?
Has it really been around that long?
Yeah, but it has.
I suppose it has, yeah. So it started back in America and we got it here at RT just 2 days later.
Yeah.
It kept reminding us. So I watched the first episode there and it is good. It seems like it's a promising start to the season ahead.
We should probably give a little spoiler warning. I mean, if you're with us, you're going to be listening to us talking about season 5 of Homeland. So,
exactly.
seasons 1 through 4, if you haven't finished watching them.
Heads up.
Spoiler, Carrie's still alive. Still Claire Danes.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a spoiler that Saul is alive, if you haven't finished season 4. Because, that whole... Was it season 4 or season 3? I've gotten them so confused now.
I get them mixed up as well.
Which one? He was kidnapped in season 4.
Oh, he was, yeah.
And
I see. I'll be honest. I was a hardcore Homeland fan. I think a lot of people feel this way.
Yeah.
I was a hardcore Homeland fan for season 1, like the rest of the world. Season 2, watched that. Season 3 was when the whole Brody thing happened, wasn't it?
Brody ran away. Had to run away.
Yeah, so that's when I kind of stepped out of it a bit, and I knew that he was wasn't going to be in it.
Yeah.
Or, there was rumors about it, or maybe I was going to watch it back and then never did, something like that.
Yeah.
And then season 4, I watched the first few episodes, thought it had kind of teetered into the ridiculousness of it all.
Yeah.
But then came back for the last few of season 4. So then I was completely hooked for the last few. So yeah, I'm kind of a fair weather Homeland fan, so to speak. But I'm definitely hooked in for this season, I think.
Yeah, I would tend to agree because I feel like they do a lot of things right and then sometimes they kind of just fall over themselves and try to do too much in some ways. I think everyone agrees that Brody's character lived far longer than he should have. Yeah. And one of the best moves they did was cutting out his family in season 3.
I know, it's such a relief not having to look at that moany faced family anymore. The daughter was just constantly moaning. The mum was
it was just painful,
stunningly beautiful.
I know, Marina Baccarat, who's an amazing actress, and
amazing.
and then she's in something else now and doing really well. But I mean, no. That was just painful. That whole family arc. It didn't add anything. At the start, it was interesting because when he was being his whole double agent self.
The first season, I think, was perfect. Yeah. And if he died at the end of that season, it would have been a fantastic TV for just
but there would
have
have been no hook for people to come back to season 2.
No, I suppose not. They had to kind of go off there and do the whole, abroad fighting and whatnot.
Yeah. But yeah, so after Brody's demise in season 4, Carrie went to Baghdad.
Yeah, she was in, was it?
The drone queen, is that what they called her?
Yeah, the whole drone attack that happened.
It was Pakistan.
Pakistan, yeah.
Sorry,
so it was the drone attack, and then she ended up accidentally killing the families of all these people when they were looking after that. I can never remember his name. What's the name?
Abu Nazir was
Abu Nazir.
No, but he was the first guy.
He was the first guy, but that was season 4 guy, wasn't it?
Was it? I don't know.
Let's not get bogged down with the names. We'll just call him Terrorist A and Terrorist
B. Mr. Terrorist.
Mr. Terrorist.
Yeah. Master Terrorist. Professor Terrorist.
Mr. Jihad.
Yeah. So then she was in Pakistan and then everything went down there.
Yeah. And that's what lost her job ultimately in the CIA at the end of the last season, was that whole drone attack that went wrong, wasn't it? We're wasn't it? Right?
Well, no, it was getting Saul back and having to... Then the embassy getting attacked and the whole thing, everything that went down in Pakistan.
Yeah.
So now we are. It didn't actually tell us how long it's passed, did it?
No, there was no. You kind of have to judge by the size of the child, I think.
Oh, do you know what? I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So it's 2 years on, according to everything that they wrote about it essentially beforehand. So it's 2 years on. She's in Berlin. She's not working for the CIA. She's working for this
During Foundation.
During, yeah, exactly.
Is it during or during?
I think it's
during.
During.
Whatever. Okay.
During, as they'd say.
Yeah.
American accent. Yeah, we're not going to do our accents.
No more accents.
No more.
Especially not the podcast talking about Homeland.
Yeah, no.
Won't end well.
It will not end well. So yeah, she's there, but yeah, it was really funny because at the start of it, it wasn't really funny, but it's just that it was an odd way to start, mass, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's Carrie. Carrie goes to mass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is a complete turnaround for her character, who always kind of, I don't know if she ever declared her.
I don't know if she ever declared her
religion, but she's such a pragmatic person who seems focused on the job and getting results that it wasn't a part of her.
I think even kind of having that opening minute with her in the church, I think it was just supposed to maybe show how drastically different her life was now. That here she was going to church and looking after her daughter, bringing her daughter to school, everything was so normal and
living
peaceful.
with her beautiful beautiful German partner, whatever.
Yeah, who is, the head off Brody. I'm sorry.
Oh, he's more handsome Brody. He's a more handsome version of Brody.
He's definitely more handsome Brody, you're right.
It's like a German Brody.
It was just so funny. It's like, let's get a redhead guy in because, she loves them.
Yeah, but also kind of made me think a little bit. It's like, did she... No, she thought the kid's too old to pretend that guy's dad because, the kid's redhead too. Was that like a little bit of... Am I reading too far into the idea of...
Because obviously the kid would have been arranged long before.
Yeah, but would the kid grow up and be like, oh, that's my dad? Not this guy who was technically a terrorist but also a war hero.
She purposely sought out a redhead man.
Maybe she just likes redhead guys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She has type,
Yeah, exactly.
But it was really funny as well, all the lovingly mother-daughter shots of
they set up
to be clear, I'm not going to drown her in the bath anytime soon.
That moment. That was probably the darkest moment in all of television last year.
Stop. I know.
I mean, including Game of Thrones and everything that went down, I was
it was just so...
almost drowning your toddler.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's also addressing the whole, how dark the whole... Well, let's not go into that. Postnatal depression and all that kind of stuff. She didn't, drown
just
the baby.
Post-traumatic stress of watching her lover... father of a child.
Yeah, she's been through a lot. She
goes
through
a lot.
Would have drowned the baby. Yeah. It was just she flirted with the notion of drowning.
Exactly. Yeah. So we've seen a lot of changes for Carrie.
Yeah.
The one thing I noticed as well, they didn't mention the fact that she's bipolar at all. I thought they were going to be a bit. We'll talk about it further on, at the end of the episode where she's shaken, where she'd be like, "I need my meds," something like that. But it doesn't seem to be a.
I suppose they've done
so much.
They've done so much with it, yeah. Because initially at this, I think in season 1 or season 2, one of them she just completely goes off the rails. When she has the big wall, and I think it was actually the end of season 2 when she's completely convinced about Brody and no one will believe her, and she's got the crazy wall, with all the little pictures and stuff. And that's when she's completely, in a bipolar breakdown. But I do think, that we've seen so much of her being kind of, on the edge and that. So it's actually, at this point, I think she seems very calm, very in control.
Yeah. But again, is that reflective of her new lifestyle where she's working for this enduring foundation, and it's just, they're like a non-profit,
he's sort of German philanthropist guy
with a mix with WikiLeaks or something.
Yeah, but he also seemed to, according to Saul anyway, made their money off World War II atrocities or something. So I think that's kind of...
I missed that.
He was saying that to her when she first met Saul, in the corridor when she was in the building, and he says something like, "Oh, you're being stupid and naive, and you don't realize that you're kind of working necessarily for the enemy, and that they essentially made their money off working people to the bone in World War II, and that's how." Whatever the foundation is. So it kind of, I don't know, I always feel like statements like that are, I don't know, kind of points towards maybe something more dodgy happening.
Yeah, down the line.
I was watching the trailer for the second episode.
Oh, I haven't watched that.
It's only 30 seconds, it's really fleeting. But so the head of the Berlin...
We should probably talk about what happens in the first episode.
Oh, yeah.
We've jumped straight into episode 2, which you haven't seen yet.
But no, I was just going to say that there is seems to be some sort of link that's coming up.
Oh, okay. Because
I
was going to say
being more dodgy than.
Yeah, so she's working for this foundation that's apparently philanthropist, but also apparently a WikiLeaks thing. So there's this girl who gets this document through these guys who ended up accidentally hacking the CIA in Berlin.
Who make it look remarkably
They make
easy.
it look so
I'm pretty
simple.
sure we could hack CIA
after this. So apparently it's that easy. So they got a document, they leak it, and that's kind of the link into what Carrie's doing, but also the head of the foundation wants to go to Lebanon, which is right next to Syria, where there's all sorts of...
So kind of, it seems like there's the two things happening of the kind of WikiLeaks type story, Snowden type stuff of the data breach there, and then there's also the whole Syria rise of ISIS thing happening, but then somehow they all seem to be linked.
But they're going to try and link them together, So I guess her peaceful life is being upset because your man wants to go to Lebanon and Syria, and that's bringing her back into her old life, which leads her to reaching out to that... the leader of the village that they want to go to.
Some sort of Hezbollah area.
There's a Hezbollah controlled village on the border, and leads to Carrie to get kidnapped and then told in weird circumstances that he's not going to help her. They'll always be enemies. Yeah. But then does she...
But I even found that whole scene funny, her kind of insisting. He says, "You killed my son," and then she's like, "But I respectfully asked you if I could visit, so you must oblige." It's like, what? That just...
Maybe it must be a thing, with you ask the council, she's...
Yeah, that must be some sort of...
He must have to.
Procedure they go through. Yeah. And then, so they did get the go-ahead in the end after all that.
After all that, fear-mongering, I guess. Meanwhile, on the other side of it, we've got Quinn, who is still...
Quinn is such a great character.
I mean, he's the best addition to the show.
Yeah.
That they've ever done, like that they came up with.
Because initially, I remember watching him, I was just sort of, this is just sort of some, almost kind of like a rookie cop that will come in and kind of challenge Claire Danes a bit.
Yeah.
But oh my God, he's become such a, like, just an amazing character. Like, at this point now, he's, like, been off 2 years, you know, all these Black Ops stuff. And, like, I mean, he just seems to have gone so cold and callous. And, you know, I mean, your man Saul was saying, like, we might have kids for you to kill. Like, teenagers that would be kind of set up and train for these camps. And he's like, you know, just let me know.
You put the names in the envelopes.
Yeah, I'm like, Quinn.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, see, he's come back and he's basically been battle-hardened. Doesn't seem to care. He didn't have any encounter with Carrie. Like, do we know what his feelings are towards her at this stage?
I don't think he feels anything for anyone, but I feel like he will for Carrie.
Yeah, what's obviously going to be a line.
I think there has to be something between these two. There's so much unfinished business.
Yeah.
Because last season, I know he had asked her to be with him, but then didn't she come back and change it? She had changed her mind after visiting her family or something like that.
Yeah.
And she came back and then he'd already gone off on the special ops thing or something like that. So they kind of just both missed each other. So there's definitely a lot of unfinished business.
Yeah. But he's too busy being a, like, assassin.
Yeah, but he's in Berlin, isn't
Taking care of business. I know, but he's everywhere.
Yeah. It's funny how he's, I don't know, that movie that he was in recently, The Actor.
Hitman.
Yeah. And he's also
getting kind of like typecast as an assassin.
Typecast as an assassin,
That's
exactly. But no, I do think he's a really good character, and like, I do think he's probably going to unfold a lot because he seems to be sort of, you know, I don't know, just so wrapped up in what his experiences have been the last 2 years. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with
that. I was going to say, but I just haven't seen the preview for the rest of the season and the next episode about the guy who the head of the foundation and why he wants to go there. He's too shady, and I'm kind of like, Carrie, come on. There was a bit when I was watching it, I was like, he's being like, I need to go there to sign a check so that other people will sign checks to help it. He's being so broad and vague, and it's like, you work for the CIA, read how vague he's being. Like, there's something else going on here.
It does. I do think Saul may have had a point.
No, Saul totally had a point
about how stupid and naive Carrie's being. You know, I think she's kind of like, she's softened a lot, but she's almost sort of not. I think she's kind of lost her touch, but I don't think it's, you know, not within her grasp to find it again. I just think she's sort of lost her edge a bit, and that she is sort of kind of naively finding herself in situations. And at this point now, it's like, I think she's going to be in Lebanon in the next episode, so I feel like that's going to like sharpen her up and bring her back into the game again. But I think they are purposely, you know, making her seem this way, that she has sort of lost her kind of
whatever had her where she was, and the reason she joined the CIA in the first place. Miranda Otto as well is a great addition in terms of the Berlin. She's the head of the CIA in the Berlin, the head of the Berlin office. She was in I was for ages just trying to place her, and of course the only place I could place her was from Lord of the Rings, when I actually was like,
is that who she is?
She is the daughter of Rohan, you know, or someone who like dresses as a man to like save the day. It's fantastic, and I think she's been in other things on television since, obviously, Lord of the Rings.
I recognised her. I meant to look up Miranda Otto.
She's great. They had great chemistry. And the whole idea that they were together in Baghdad and saw shit go down.
Yeah, but she hasn't been in previous seasons.
No, that's the thing. I was trying to be like, have I just missed you?
Because so many characters come and go, and as I said, I'm not like hardcore Homeland fan, so I was like, okay, maybe she has appeared in episodes without us knowing, but no, obviously Miranda Otto is a new addition to the cast.
And clearly going to be important because she's a name and was involved very much. They're implying that she's going to have a lot to do.
There's a lot of new additions to the cast.
There's a lot of additions, and like I like where it's going. I like this like angle of having like, if it stays that like Quinn being this hitman doing the dirty work off the books, and on the run almost in Berlin, and I don't know where Carrie's going to go. She's clearly going to get dragged back into ISIS and Hezbollah and the Middle East, whether she wants to or not. Hopefully I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, but I kind of like they'll leave the kid out of it now. Like there's no like, oh well, we know you're leaving, you have your kid. I don't want like it to turn into like 24 or 24 where it's like, we have your child, you must do this for
let
us.
just Franny have a normal peaceful life.
Let Franny go away with the beautiful German man who's ginger as well, who pretend to be your dad, and she can learn German and have a great life.
I kind of like though that we don't necessarily, it's not all, you can't see how it's all going to tie together at any point, which I think people were kind of saying. The first episode was a bit sort of, you know, it wasn't as sort of as you'd hope it to be. But I think Homeland can get a bit too exaggerated and over the top.
Yeah, because there was that embassy attack in season 4. Like, it built up to it really well, but the time you got there, you were like, how is this actually going on?
Yeah, it just can edge towards the ridiculous sometimes. Whereas I think all the storylines so far, like the Syria thing and the refugee crisis they spoke of, like this is happening. You know, the data breach thing happened. Exactly. It's so much more grounded. Like it's real life events that are actually happening. And obviously we're watching a, you know, fictionalized version of them, but still it's kind of, it definitely seems a lot more like, okay, we're getting like the inside scoop of how the CIA or you know,
it's closely mirroring reality.
But I do like how we don't necessarily know how it's going to go with her character, with Quinn's character, and Saul. What's happening with Saul?
Mandy Patinkin is such a good actor.
He really is.
He basically barely moves his face, but you just know like from like his growl or like a twitch, like what's going on in his head. Like he's so good.
He really is. Even that scene with him and Carrie, he just managed to, without even saying a word, like completely convey the relationship between them, how it was at that particular moment, you know, and
how betrayed he feels. He
is a brilliant actor. Mandy Patinkin.
Although I do love the bit that Miranda Otto's character, whose name I've forgotten, but we'll just call him Miranda Otto, was like, oh, I've actually a meeting with Saul, you have to go out the back door, and she refuses to and goes to the front door thinking she can handle that conversation. And I was like, again, you just proved Saul's point of being how stupid and naive you're being, is that you thought you could bump into him and, you know, confirm your whatever you needed to confirm, but she didn't really, apart from confirming to that journalist one who works for the Turing Foundation that in fact she does have a legit CIA document that she's published online, and we're going to see the fallout of that. And where that goes. I watched that. The second she goes, what she say? She said, fuck it, I'm publishing, because your man hangs up on her. I was like, great, well, Quinn's going to kill you.
Quinn's coming for you.
Quinn's coming for you. He's going to like take a pipe bomb and put it in your room, and that's it. You're done.
That's it.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So overall, I'm excited about the whole season.
Which is good, because I wasn't, to be honest. Didn't have high hopes. I was like, oh, Berlin. I like Berlin. Berlin is such always the classic place for these kind of espionage stuff, isn't it? Like it kind of, you know, even the Bourne stuff and all that kind of thing. Actually, that was who Quinn reminded me of. It was like Jason Bourne style, just like he just goes in, climbs a fence, and the wall in a window.
He's gone. But what was it? There was something else I was going to say there about it. That's what I was going to say. Is that like it's so rare for a show like this to come back from the hammering it's gotten, though. Like I mean, from all the critics. So it's kind of at this point now I'm almost rooting for it. You know, there was like a while there where I was like, no, it's just ridiculous. But I think everyone is sort of going, okay, they've actually made it work. Fair play.
I think it's when you have good actors and like who can make even bad situations work, because like some of the stuff in Homeland has been ridiculous, but it's still compelling.
I do think Claire Danes carries it completely, which is brilliant.
And no shaky lip crying face so far.
No cry face. And there wasn't that much of it last season as well.
I know.
I feel like she knows.
She must know. They're like, we can't do that because it's just turned into a
joke. It would take an emotional scene and make it look ridiculous. Which in fairness is what it's always done. But like very notably so. That's Homeland. I think we were going to talk about The Leftovers as well.
Yes, because on another show that was kind of like equally, like, it was celebrated by critics, but also a bit like panned for like people didn't know what to make of it. So it's a bit like Marmite. People are going to either love it or loathe it. And I think a lot of that comes down to the writer and showrunner Damon Lindelof, who was behind Lost. And people just have a bit of a chip on their shoulders about Lost.
That's really funny. Just a complete side note, but I watched This Is 40 last night, and like, have you seen This Is 40?
Oh, I have, but like I vaguely remember.
There's just like an underlying story of the kid who watches Lost, and like it's just sort of the confusion people felt at the end of Lost. I was like, I feel you.
Paul Rudd's kid, is it? Or not Paul Rudd's kid? Is it Paul?
It's Leslie Mann. Both their kids in it, but Leslie Mann's a real life kid in that movie.
Oh, okay, very good.
Both are. And Judd Apatow's. Judd Apatow. I can't say it.
Apatow. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, Leftovers.
Yeah, Leftovers.
So Leftovers is a show. It's coming into its second season. It's on Sky Atlantic, and the first season was based on a book by someone whose name I've just forgotten.
I know there's like a series of books, weren't they?
No, it's just one. It's just one. The entire season kind of encompassed what happens in the book. And it's basically based around this idea that on a random day, 2% of the world's population just vanished in a rapture-like event, and it's called The Sudden Departure, and the people who went are called The Departed. And the first season was set in this like New York town where people were dealing with the departure, and so there was like very quickly it was like they dumped like a lot of the cast. So it was like a family with Justin Theroux as the dad, and Amy Brenneman was the mother, and Liv Tyler is in there too.
Did you say Amy Poehler?
Amy Brenneman.
Oh, sorry.
I thought Amy Brenneman. If Amy Poehler came out,
no,
I apologize. And their family, and basically they were all separated and all doing different things and dealing with like this like world-changing event, but it was very grim. That was the overall sense. Everyone was like, this is really grim, and it just keeps getting grimmer. And it gets a bit weird, and it ventures into lost-ish territory, because people, again, want to know, what is this, like, are we going to find out where these people went? Are we going to find out, like, are they going to come back? Are there ever going to be answers? And it plays with a lot of things, but the producers and writers have said it's not about where or how they went, it's about living afterwards and see, and that, like, it's like the aftermath. It's almost like an apocalypse. It's like the people who are left behind used to have to try and make the world work, but it's actually not a bad world. It's just that some people are gone. Yeah. So anyway, season 1 was grim, and it built to a crescendo of grim, with like a fire and people dying and it all going pretty mad. So season 2 was started with Justin Theroux's character and his lover, just Carrie Coon, who was also in the Gone Girl. She was the sister of Ben Affleck in Gone Girl. She's an amazing actress.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
And Justin Theroux's daughter, and then a baby that was the child of a cult leader and a girl that was kind of like one in his harem, but it's completely unrelated to anyone in the family. It was like the mother and the father died, and then this child was left over. They sort of
adopted the child.
And they've sort of taken the child because they had nowhere else to go. And they've started anew, and so they've all moved to this town in Texas, and it's known as like the Miracle Town. They've renamed it Miracle, but Jordan has named the town because it's the only town in America, or in the world, I think, where no one departed from.
Oh, okay.
So that's the whole premise, is like this, what if there was this town, but no one departed from, and what's going on there. And so the first episode kind of takes you through, it actually is a really clever thing. It doesn't really show you the main cast that we're used to until around 3/4 of the way in.
Okay, this is the first episode of season 2.
It's season 2. You could actually almost go into it pretty blind, I'd say. As in, there are some things that you probably need to watch the first season to understand, but I have a feeling they're setting it up as a whole new, not a whole like restart, but as in,
you can start.
I'd say you could start from this point and get into it. So it introduces this whole new family that live in this town in Jordan in Texas. Like the daughter's like a popular girl who's an athlete, who's doing really well at school. The son is like, he's like a preacher. He does like the scriptures and stuff and like thing, and he believes in the gospel. He's very like religious heavy. And he's a good guy. He gives food to this homeless man who lives in a pillar that no one touches. And the town is like guarded off, and it's like gated off, and like no one can get into security. And it's like a national park, so parks land and all those kind of park rangers keep everyone out. People have to get wristbands to come in, and people are flocking there because they want to be either like, you know, drink the water and save themselves. Like it's kind of like this crazy mystical.
Yeah, you can imagine how that would happen.
It's a new holy land in some weird way. But as we get introduced to this family, we kind of learn that everything in the town isn't what it seems. The dad is a firefighter, but also seems to be taking it on himself, along with some others, to kind of like weed out any people who make too much noise about like other wacky religious things and stuff like that. Okay. There's a lot going on. There's a lot on the underground that we don't know about yet. So there's a lot of intrigue already. And it looks fascinating. And then when Justin Theroux's character and all those people arrive, we see them interact. And then, I won't read it if you haven't watched it yet, but there is like a series of events that lead up to a bit of at the end of the first episode. Okay. And it's done really well. And it's like, again, like Homeland, if it was other actors, you'd be like, this is ridiculous. What is the thing? Or if it was handled differently, if it wasn't HBO, you would be probably exhausted by because everything, like there's like things that hint to the apocalypse and things that hint to things going on are kind of casually placed in the background. Yeah. And you may miss them. They're not necessarily need to be there, but they're like details of this world if you want to see they exist. But they're not like painted onto your face, either way, or onto the characters' faces. Yeah. So it works very well. Like Justin Theroux is fantastic, and even though he's brilliant in this first episode,
Jennifer Aniston's husband.
Regina King, who won the Emmy for was it a stunning guest appearance or a stunning lead actress in a miniseries?
Not sure which, for that TV show.
No, for a different thing altogether. But she's recently Emmy winning. She's in the second season.
Oh, brilliant!
Plays the wife in the new family.
And when is it starting on?
It started on Sky Atlantic this week.
Oh, it started already. Great.
It started already, but I won't read the first episode because you should get into it. Yeah. And it's continuing. Again, it's 10 episodes for the next 9 weeks. You'll be able to see it. I'm sure it's on the Sky.
Yeah, it was one of those. I watched the first episode of it last season and didn't really take to it, and then kept meaning to give it another chance. But I know you've as you said, you've sold it to me now, I think. But I think I might try, because that's what we used to always do, isn't it? Back in the day when you couldn't go back and watch things, you would just, I remember with Lost, like, I started watching that kind of a little bit, but like the end of season 1 and then into season 2, because it was just, there was no way you could go back and watch it. So I might just do it old school and just start watching from season 2.
Yeah. I will say this, that season 2 starts in a way that is very divisive. Yeah. And could turn you off. Okay. Now, having not seen the rest of it, I can't say power through, it's worth it. Yeah. But and I will be a fan of the shows that are like a slow burn, and like this show isn't really about answers, it's more about like examining human condition and stuff like that. Okay. So, and the acting is great, and like it feels very real, and it's a good like world building kind of show. So give it a chance, but again, it may not be your cup of tea. Right. Especially the start. I know, like I can imagine a lot of people would watch this and be like, am I watching the right show? Is this what I'm... Wait, no. Are we sure? No. You'll know what I mean when you say it. But it's a good... Like, the opening sequence is a bit mental. Yeah. But again, I think it very much defines... Like, or like, it would be similar to like what the show is trying to say into. Yeah, yeah. Very like a lot of imagery and symbolism and things like that. So again, not your light fare. It's very much more in the... It's trying to be in that category of True Detective and all those other kind of like... What's the word? Prestige dramas. Yeah. And stuff like that, but a bit kind of like just weird. Yeah. And enjoyable. I enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah. Sold.
There you go. I'm going to watch it. Watch the leftovers. Yeah.
And then, the only one I had for so not as anywhere near as complicated, it's as At Home with Steph and Dom starts on, the Channel 4 couple from Gogglebox. So they're the ones who are like the wine...
Oh my God, they're getting their own show.
Their own show, and it's a chat show, and it's on Saturday. Yeah,
what?
I know. So it's At Home with, or is it Dom and Steph? Whatever. I have it written down there. At Home with Steph and Dom. So they have it on Saturday night at 9:00 on Channel 4. Their first guests are Louis Walsh, that cricketer. I'm just going to pick up my little post-it here because it's right here. So they have Jerry Springer,
Jerry Springer,
yeah, Jason Donovan. And some cricket player called Phil Tufnell that I don't know of.
I think he must be the English guy, the famous English guy with the hair.
Yeah, English guy with hair, I'd say so. So yeah, them two are gas because I know anyone who watches Gogglebox.
I hope they be I'm assuming they'll be drinking wine and...
They'll be drinking wine, and I think it's dinner and wine and chats and...
Is it a pre-record?
I imagine it's pre-recorded.
Live studio audience? Or?
No, I think it's just them, like people calling to their house kind of thing.
You're kidding.
Yeah, unless there's some sort of fake house setup. But I think it's just like they have them over for dinner type thing and we get to watch.
All three. So it's like a dinner
I've
party.
Seen is I saw one with them at Louis Walsh, so I don't know if it's going to be a whole dinner party thing.
So it must be hard to get schedules to combine these things. Yeah.
So I don't know how exactly it's going to work, but I do know those are the guests, and I do know it's happening, Dave.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's going to start. It's going to be a bit off. It's like no. I'm just trying to make it more complicated than it is.
Okay.
Like, my TV highlight. It's very much to the point. Watch it on Channel 4 on Saturday. And,
amazing. No, that actually does sound really interesting. I know. It's amazing that people have turned Gogglebox into a thing because most of the people who've done Gogglebox, like the odd thing was, and they get and be like a column or a feature in like Now magazine or something like that, but they're not really famous. None of them have chased fame like anyone else in reality TV really does. Yeah. So it's strange. It'll be like new territory for Gogglebox.
I know they are an intriguing couple anyway. They're always so cute the way they hold hands.
I know, but I would just fear that people might get a bit like
I don't know.
Oversaturated and tired of them.
Like when they were advertising it for Saturday, it was like put it in as like a special or something. So I don't know if this is just a one-off.
Is it just a one-off thing for the weekend with all the cancer?
No, I don't think it's true. That the Stand Up for Cancer thing is on Friday, which is also looks amazing. That's got like Jamie Dornan on Gogglebox. So that's well worth viewing. Yeah. And who else? Lee Mack, Nick Frost, Jerry Halliwell, loads of them.
God, I'm going to be really upset if Jamie Dornan on a Gogglebox is real crap. Like if he's just like sitting there being like, isn't like. This is good.
It doesn't matter his accent. He could just sit there and read the alphabet.
I know, but you want it to be like when Kate Moss watched Gogglebox and was really into it. Yeah. So, like, yeah.
I hope Jamie Dornan's into it as well. Yeah.
Well, he's on TV. He makes his money on TV. He should be in TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe one day he'll watch that as well on Friday.
Maybe one day he'll watch us.
Maybe. I don't know how that would happen, but you know. I'll somehow get wind of this podcast.
We can dream.
We can dream. Okay, that's it, I think, for this one. But thank you for listening, and we will talk to you again next week.